So I have a few different materials on my desk for today's journaling session, which is fitting, of course, for the prompt of mixed materials. Not really sure where this is going to go, but I grabbed washi tape, modeling paste, stencils, even some masking tape. I'm just gonna see where this takes me. So I had the idea of potentially adding some modeling paste to masking tape because I realized that I haven't really used any masking tape within this journal yet, and it's something that I've been sort of playing with in other journals I've been working in. And so I was like, okay, what if I added that for like a different texture? And then I thought, well, maybe I could add some modeling paste as well, but obviously I'm a little bit cautious about adding too much like bold white against these pages, just with obviously these ones here that have been a bit like of problem pages for me. So I was thinking, okay, well, I don't want to necessarily recreate the same effect here all over the show, and so I don't know, I thought maybe I could tint it a little bit and make it pink. Again, don't know how that's going to go, but I was thinking if I'm doing this on masking tape, then at least I can see what it looks like before I add it to the journal, which again is something I did with some previous prompts where I had these collage strips and things where I was working on it and then adding it to the journal, and let that be the way that I can test out how things look. So I think we're going to go with the same again, just in case this doesn't turn out how I think it will, or I don't like the way that it goes. Okay, so I've just poured out some of the modeling paste and I'm going to add a bit of the paint, and then I can always add more if I want to. But I'm hoping it'll be just like a pale pink that kind of complements the sorts of pinks that I've got going on here. But again, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. And this is Peachy Keen by Paper Artsy. It's just a acrylic paint. So let's see how this goes. Oh, you can tell I haven't used that in a while, but that's fine. We'll mix it in. I feel like one of those ASMR videos that you see on like Instagram Reels where they're mixing the different pigments. Okay, this has added a bit more colour than I thought there was going to be, so maybe I'll add a bit more of the modelling paste. What I was thinking I could do is just lay out some of this masking tape on my desk here, and then we'll apply the stencil to it. And then I'm just going to pick a stencil to use. Maybe this one. Or we could do some flowers. Maybe we'll do, kind of tempted to try the flowers. Let's try the flowers. And then what I might do is pour out some more modeling paste, and then maybe then we can get a bit of the white in there as well, so it's not all one colour. And similar to the collage strips that I was making, obviously when I peel this off, I'm not going to then have the entirety of this design on a journal page. I'll be just using sections of it, but it's a little bit easier, I think, to do this onto a separate surface rather than thinking, oh gosh, now I've got to do this onto a specific page and worry about it not turning out, because I'm not sure what this is going to look like when I take the stencil off of this. I'm just sort of hoping that it's going to look okay, I suppose. Okay, that's not too bad. I quite like that. I'm going to go and clean the stencil off before it all dries onto here. Okay, so now that that is dry, let's see how they've actually turned out. So there's quite a lot of texture on there, if you can sort of see on what it's picking up on camera. So I've kind of got 2 full sheets, and then a little bit went onto the 3rd piece here. So there is another one, and you can kind of tell that it's flowers, but not really. It's sort of just texture, but I'm hoping it will add a nice bit of colour, and because it's masking tape, you'll get a little bit of translucency, I'm hoping, when I add some of this as well. So I think I'm just gonna sort of tear it and just see how it looks in certain sections. So I don't necessarily want to add like a whole massive chunk of it. I just want to have it be in certain places throughout the different pages. So like maybe here, for example. Let's see. So I still have a little bit of this left over, but I've added some of this throughout different sections, and it's definitely a little bit more pink than I was anticipating, but I think it does add a nice pop of colour. So there's a few areas where I also added some collage sections as well, and there's also some areas where I added some stamping. I really did get into the mixed materials spirit of it, so I just added this section underneath here because I really liked this section that came out quite nicely from the stencil, but I didn't want it to be sort of taking over, so I popped it underneath this section I've got here so I can still see it, but it's slightly obscured by these papers. And like I said, I've got a bit of stamping going on with the masking tape as well. So yeah, I've added some of that throughout the pages, and yeah, I've just added it in like little subtle areas, so it's starting to bring a bit of a pop of colour to certain sections. So like I've added it here, and then the stamping throughout as well. So again, it's that thing of adding a little bit of cohesion by having a similar colour palette and a similar look and feel throughout the different pages, so that it sort of carries through as one piece, I suppose. And so yeah, pink is definitely the colour of this journal, that's for sure. I even added this piece underneath the clear tip-in that I did here, so it'll be interesting to see how that evolves with that piece being underneath there. And then I think that might have been it. Yeah, so I didn't add it on every single page, but I did add the stamping throughout, and I think I'm really liking the way that I've kind of got this like neutral and sort of craft tone, but then there is this pop of pink throughout, whether it's in those bits that I've added there or also in the different floral elements, and we've got the greens and the blues as well. So I think I'm quite happy with the way that the colour palette is turning out here. So I hope you're enjoying the process of this journal coming together. I know that it's a lot different to how I normally work in my journals, but I'm really enjoying the process of working like this and being able to kind of respond to what I've done each day, and even, you know, cover things up if I wasn't happy with the bright yellow watercolour that I added for one of the previous prompts. I just think it's a really nice way to work with the pages rather than just turning the page each day and sort of being done with it. I can really see how things are starting to come together. So yeah, as always, thank you for joining me for this journaling session. I'd love to know what materials you've mixed for this prompt, and I will see you in the next one.